Good morning, everyone. So I had a commenter request that I do a shop tour. There's a lot going on at our shop. I mean, it's not big, but here it is. We do everything. You can see we've got a forklift, this is our own personal truck, we've got a tractor in the back there, we've got a fruit hauler truck, put bins on. So started the shop, my dad started it in 95, same year I was born, and actually got my rotary cutter working back there. So while that's going, I'm doing this. So I started in 95 doing tractor repair, and I went to college and did the machining course for trade school. Loved it. And so the first machine that I bought was this mill. So it's an Acra. It's made in Taiwan. Built pretty much just like a Bridgeport, but I love it. Bridgeports are obviously not around anymore, but this one is. This is brand new. Bought this, I want to say, about 6-7 years ago. Bought it brand new. Have had nothing but good luck with it. I've got a 3-axis digital readout that does this way, and it's got a readout here on the quill right there. So that's that up and down. So really like this machine. It's worked out very well for me. Second machine I bought was this big lathe. It's got a 26-inch throw. So this one is also an Acra, and it is a 26-120. That's a 26-inch throw, 120 inches between centers. So when you put a center here in the chuck and you get your tailstock all the way out, you can put a 120-inch piece in here. I rarely go above out 3 feet. Rarely. Do a lot of smaller stuff, but the big thing about this is it's got a 4-inch bore. Absolutely love that. I put a lot of big stuff in it. Probably shouldn't be put in the lathe, but it works. Like in one of the last videos was a flywheel, and yeah, I love it for that because it works great. Over here, so those are the first 2 machines I ever bought. So the mill was about 6 years ago, 7 years, and the lathe I got a couple of months after that. And at the point I thought I was just gonna be doing like shafts and things, because around here we have a lot of packing shed equipment that has to be built, but that market's kind of saturated and no one does engine machining anymore. So that's why I decided to get into this. So we've been doing engine machining ever since COVID started. That's when I really hit it hard. I started buying my first engine machining stuff in late of 19. That's when I really started getting into that. And so I've enjoyed it. Something a little sketchy here. I might have to make a video on it, but surfacing a exhaust manifold. Took me forever to figure out how to get this mounted on here. I'll have to record that second one and make a video just on that. It's a little sketchy, but it's working. I couldn't find anything on YouTube. No one, from what I've seen, has done it. So my cutters are worn out, so I'm only taking 1/1000th passes. So we'll go start over back here again, and we'll start off from the end and work my whole way around the shop. First off, this is third machine. This one's actually the newest one. It's a pressure tester. This is for checking aluminum heads. You put air in here. You got a regulator. And then we've got plates and all sorts of stuff to hook it up. You put your head inside of here, and we've got all of these plates that are cut out with a rubber end. And then that's how you check to make sure that you don't have leaking port, or what I run into a lot on the Ford V10s is a crack, a pinhole in the seat that lets water get into the exhaust or intake. So that's what I use for checking that one. And it is made by, oh, who is it made by? See, the sticker's so worn off I can't even see it. But there you go. Made by someone. I think I found a name somewhere else on it, but no one makes anything for it. I can't find these plates anywhere. There's a few that I have missing. So, machines, comment, let me know where I can buy these. I've looked all over the internet. Can't find them. Yes, I could just make my own, but I ain't got time for that. So, let me know in the comment section where I can buy these plates. Just plexiglass, I don't know, 1 inch thick, and then 1/4 inch rubber. So yes, could make it, don't got time. Second off, brake lathe. It is an old one. My dad actually bought this one brand new back in the 80s. One of the first machines he ever bought. Still use it sometimes. Not very often because everything is ceramic now. So this only gets used once in a while. That's a plate right there that I've made, my dad made, to do the 8-in steel drums. These are a pain in the butt. They're really hard to do, but we do them. Fourth machine is my flywheel grinder right here. This is a Van Norman FG5000. I really like it. It's simple, nothing to it. But man, is this the dirtiest machine there is of, again, tips. You may keep these machines clean, let me know. They're just a pain in the butt. So, yeah, if you know that, let me know. There it is. I just posted a video, or that should be coming up pretty soon here. Video's done and it's scheduled to release. So, again, mill. This is my lathe. This is a whole wall of drill bits that I have. I go everywhere from the smallest I've got, 1/16 of an inch, and I go all the way up to this thing. I mean, that's my hand, and I got a big hand. So I think it's like a 2 5/16. So all sorts of sizes. And then this is a bunch of tooling for my lathe. A couple other random tools in there. So the storage bolt bins work good for that. I'm gonna go getting to the end. Alright, back over here. Then I've got this one. This is one of the newer machines. Got this one, well, not really new, but got this in 2020. I'll have to do a video on Vision Block honing toboggan. It is a story. And not good things to say about some company. They treat us terribly. So we ended up buying this one. This is a Sunnen. Nothing against Sunnen. Sunnen's awesome. I've been buying stuff from them. But there's another company that I absolutely hate and have a bad taste in my mouth. So, yeah, CV616. Love this machine. This tool does a 3 to 5 inch bore. And sometimes I do run into small stuff. So I've got the midget. And so that one does 2 to 3 inch. Anything smaller, I use my rod honing machine. So I like this machine, works really well. Sometimes it gets a little funky with bore taper, but once you do your 50th block, start to get the hang of it and how to use it correctly. Whether it's correct or whether I'm doing it the wrong way and get the best results, I don't know, but it works. This is the first of like the big engine machining stuff that I have bought. I bought this one late of 2019. So this is a Rottler. Wow, what model is it? Here we go. F2VB. Really like it. I like CNC because this is just one of those things where you can set it up. It takes forever to get from here to the bottom of the bore, but during that time you can walk away and do something else. So there's been 1 or 2 times where it's been too small. I can just barely get a power stroke in here, so I need something bigger, but it works just fine. And yeah, it's been a good machine. I've made a few tools for it to make it work for what I do. So it can do straight motors, just setting on these parallels, and then I've got a V8 fixture. This one does 30 and 60 degrees, so if you run into those weird Ford blocks, you can do both. This one I bought at the same time as that honing machine. This one's the rod honing machine. Bought it from the same guy. Again, it's a Sunnen, and I've really liked it. It's worked good. When I bought it, there's not much tooling I had to buy for it, but I got all my mandrels for rod pins there, and then the big ends. And then it's just a good place to store my press pins for doing bushings. So this one's worked out good for me. I've liked it. There's computer stuff out there and fancy equipment, but for the amount I use it, it works just fine. Not really looking for a replacement anytime soon. And here we go. This is my Van Norman Rotary Broach 570. Great machine. I actually used this one. I bought this off of a guy locally who wanted to get rid of it for $1,500. I replaced this old dinosaur. This is a Storm Vulcan Blockmaster, and it worked, but man, setting up a head on this was just too much work. It wasn't worth it. It works good, just it's too slow. So it's kind of set to the side here, not even hooked up, turned into a junk table, sadly. But so I really like the Van Norman. This works good. And then these are some of the newest machines I bought. I bought this at the beginning of last summer of 2022. And so then this one is my head and seat machine. It's a Sunnen VGS20. And I can do big Cummins heads. I can do tiny little imports. Even these little Kubota 3 cylinders, 1 liter. It does it all. It's a great machine. Highly recommend it. Thing was warped like crazy. It's still barely touching this one. I've taken 20 thousandths of material off. So back to this machine. Get one if you're looking. You can get them used. They're new enough that they work great, and old enough that people are getting rid of them for cheap. So pick one up if you can. This one is a head disassembly and assembly table, and I've liked it. I've had to do some things to it to get it to work right. I bought it from a shop that was falling apart, so they didn't take care of their stuff. But it's got a rotating table. And then this one pivots this way, so you can get those angled valves if you need to. But I put a new piston in here, and because the other one was it was completely wore out. I think the cylinder had about 30 thousandths of play. And so it had an aluminum wall, so I put a steel wall. It cost me a pretty penny, but it's going to last another 50 years. So, this guy was asking me about it, but it's a Peterson machine tool. Pretty rudimentary. It looks like this is the tool, and then it bolts onto any table. So you could put on top of a table if you'd like. If you didn't have the bottom section, but it's nice to have a machine have its own table. It'd be nice to put on a big table, and then you'd have some workspace on the side of it, but that's what this junk table's for. So, and then I've got a Quickway valve grinder. Love it. I upgraded from a Sioux tool from the 60s, so this one's new to me. This is the newest machine that I have, and it's got quite the valve counter on it. I did the math, and for me to do that many valves at the pace that I'm at, it'd take me 400 years. So, but I bought it for cheap, and it works good. So, and then yeah, this one, Dinosaur. Good machine. It's got its issues, like I've got a leaking seal, and you can't buy the stuff for it anymore. So I had to machine the shaft, make a seal work for it, and it worked for a few weeks, and then it started leaking again, so that was an issue. This one's kind of got kicked to the curb. This is a crankshaft welder, and I've given up. I can't get it to work correctly. I've got a lot of issue with the flux feed. You can't buy parts for this anymore. You have to make everything. And I tried to make enough stuff that it just got complicated and wouldn't work anymore. And so it's kind of a part. I want to get it working, but just don't have the time. And then parts washer. I would love a bigger one. I can't do big Cummins blocks in this, but Chevy V8s and straight sixes, that kind of stuff works just fine. Here's a whole stack of motors. This one is a Jeep 6-cylinder that I'm just about ready to assemble. It's all honed, ready to go. And this one's actually my Cummins block. I will be doing a video on the build of this one. It's a slow process because you may know who do your own, have mechanic shop or anything. You have time for other people's stuff, you don't have time for your own. So that's the fun stuff that I'm really passionate about. So I'm gonna try to get that on there one of these days and kind of show you my own projects. I got a lot going on, lots of different stuff. People say I need to find one thing and focus on it. I can't. I love jumping around from project to project. It just makes you excited. So, last machine is my crankshaft grinder, Storm Vulcan. Love it. It's got its quirks, and it doesn't work perfect, but I've learned its quirks. And I've put John Deere 6-cylinders in here with room to spare about a foot. So I could do some bigger ones than that, but not too often am I going to need bigger. This one's been a pain. I've had this machine running for 2 hours because it's wearing out my bits. I have new bits on order that I've seen from video on YouTube, and I'll post that link right there. Great great video, very educational. I bought some of the bits, whether it was from him or someone who makes them, I don't know. I bought them on eBay. So they're on their way. Let's see, where am I? Oh, one of the coolest things that everyone just loves is our big ass press. And it's got a John Deere cylinder, I want to say it's a 4.5 inch or 4.25 inch rod. It's huge. And so then I've made this thing. I drilled out the middle of it on my lathe. That was an adventure. And so then this is changeable, so I can put different things in here. And then it's just got a set bolt. So this has been great. It's got a 15 horsepower 3-phase pump in the back, and it's just switch on, up and down. It's a monster. It's got a lot of power, don't get me wrong. I think it's around 100,000 pounds or something like that. But it's the travel. We put axles and stuff in here, and it works good. A little bit of a tour outside. So, Central Valley summer, but this is a weird one. So, trees are ready to be picked, but we got a black cloud. It's a weird summer. We've only had 100-degree day, and it's June. It's not right. So we got a bead blaster here for doing aluminum stuff. Wish I had room inside for it. It's got a little rust buildup on it, but I just don't have space inside for it. And then this is my cleaning table, my little cute bench grinder. And then I got a little, oh man, Harbor Freight press from the 80s, back when Harbor Freight was okay. And then since we do tractor repair, this is the Field of Broken Dreams. Or just stuff waiting to get fixed. That's my shop at the moment. It's only been 4 years since I've gotten into the engine machining portion. And so quite a few machines, but slowly getting there. I'd like to upgrade to new stuff eventually, especially on the boring machine. That'll save me a lot of time. So we're getting there, and things are going to keep getting added to the shop. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment. I'll get to you, and let me know what else you'd like to see.